I understand that this is not a stage performance. I'm just trying to give a more soothing intro image at least, and it'll go to a black screen. I know sometimes I'll read that, like, what? But no, I mean it's less distracting, and I understand that. I just wanted to say a couple quick things first. One, the flute player is not in the house right now, um, but I was just listening to something, and it kind of fits with this, and I want to do a snippet of it. And you know what? If it gets muted or whatever, it gets muted. But I want to play it because it may not be recognizable and considered the original, but it kind of fits with the theme. And hopefully, it'll let me toggle like it did just as I started. And yeah, the other thing that I wanted to say is that, well, two things, I guess, two other things. One, I want you to know that I really do think and hope. I'm just noticing, oh, it's a handle in the bag. I wondered what that was. I really do think and hope that my videos are only going to continue to get better with effects. I actually did happen to click into the edit studio today, and at first it looked simple, and then it's like, nah, I'm not really understanding what I'm looking at. So I think hopefully I'll figure that out soon. I don't think it's necessary, but it could help. Um, and somebody was here briefly and then left. The only other thing, and they're probably thinking if they've seen my channel before, this looks a lot like your other videos, but it's about to look a little bit different. Um, the only other thing that I was wanting to state beforehand is that um, it won't be that hard to find about. I do apologize, and I'm actually going to put it in the comments too, for any advert that plays. When I play back my videos, I only see them at the beginning sometime when I do. And I did my best to select the best setting for this. With that, um, there was something. I don't know why. I mean, I know kind of the common thinking about like advertisements and how it brings money, but if people want to donate, then I don't know why that has anything to do with what type of advertising amount you select for your video. So, and you know, I'm personally done with $20. Thankfully, we have somebody else in the household who does have an income. It's just kind of the struggle of the way things are right now. But so I mean, whether I take a trip or not, actually, uh, on a vacation, so kind of do. I am struggling. And so if you like this, nobody's watching right now, but or has been, I don't think. But if you like this and you're able to, I don't remember how it works, but the other owner of the channel probably does, and hopefully we just receive. Yeah, I don't know how it works, but do welcome a donation. We do. Um, so without any further ado, I maybe didn't say in the title because I know a little earlier when I was thinking about it, I thought, yeah, that might turn people off to say that it's improvised, but I do hope that you'll give this a chance, and I think that I have some natural improvisational skills, and I've reminded myself of that recently. Um, and some, not to toot my own bugle, but I do think that sometimes I say some things in some really beautiful, lovely ways. Not just from channeling, which is not my words. But you know, so so don't try. But so um, I yeah. So I'm just gonna put the rest of my coffee in the fridge and grab something quickly, and then we'll start. And I might also pull it up on here and see what that looks like, especially since it's not completely flat. I've always liked the title of this one, so. Oh yeah, okay. Kind of like the way the light's shining. I've always liked the title of it. Let's see if this video makes me watch it. Can't win that one. This is good. So let's put it back. Hopefully I'll say it was a good video. Okay. I should have been playing music, I'm sorry. Quiet noise, I can't meditate. Yeah, it's going to need to be louder with the dog possibly being noisy. I'm just glad that it's not crashing anymore. Okay, just a moment, folks. So technically, I haven't started it from the beginning. It's just barking noise outside. And this should come through just fine. This is possibly my first time. I hope that you will be patient enough to try it. And I'm curious for your feedback, which I realize most people don't have to be asked to give it, but I'm just gonna put the phone on silent and we'll begin. Meditation should always be available and accessed for humans and perhaps pets because of the world that we live in. Expectations, hopes, dreams, emotions. We all know them. Sadness, grief, anger. I should also state that this music is self-created. And we might be willing to sell you a copy. Happiness, joy, and perhaps even anticipation. You're putting on sunscreen to soak up the sun in a lush green ambient surroundings. take a moment to appreciate where you're at, both in your mind and the difficulties you may be having in separating your day-to-day life from this moment of relaxation, because that's human. It takes practice, and it won't be easy sometimes when you're going through a lot. But I would like to suggest to you that you give this to yourself. That you really take in your environment. It may not be idyllic. It may not be super well cared for, but there's still beauty. Flowers are starting to come out naturally, even if they haven't been planted recently. They pop up every year, even for the person with less of a green thumb. We can't all be the Hulk. And maybe I'm going to get a little personal with this, but take it as you will. Maybe it is the home of somebody that you know who has been having health issues, has been aging and struggling. And even if this is just a virtual vacation in your mind, know that we can all perhaps relate to that. And the thoughts that you wish to send of healing to your loved one, and the memories and times you might want to make with your loved one. Can be experienced in your mind and virtually. The internet can be good, and it can allow you to connect when it otherwise might be very hard. Because let's face it, we aren't all given the same opportunities or amount of opportunities in life. And that may mean, unfortunately, that we do not necessarily have a lot of spending money, or perhaps we work a lot and it's hard to get away. We might not have access to things like a vehicle to make getting around easier, or the ability to rent a car at our destination. But right now, your destination is this lush, vast countryside property with lots of space. No need to be selfish, you deserve this. Lots of space, to lots of space between you and the next home, which very well may be your friend, and if not, at least you have the space. And you have this space to create for yourself, with your eyes open or closed, of this lush green spring countryside, with flowers and birds, and maybe even the occasional dragonfly, butterfly. Butterflies are free to fly. Dog looking around, smelling the grass, and looking for a warm place to lay in the sun. And look at his loved one, enjoying a moments of peace and serenity. Be able to go on a holiday. But you've got this moment right here and right now. And not all of us are going to be able to pick up and travel at a time when the flights may be pricey and they change often. At a time when maybe you have too many other commitments or things that you need to be present for. And perhaps there's a part of you, to make this really relatable to self and other people, some people, that worries that, or thinks that sometimes I don't want to make new memories with people because eventually, one way or another, I'll probably lose them. That's what life does. It may be soon, it may not be. So let's try not to quarrel. It can be hard sometimes, but let's cherish each other. What's the static? I guess it's this particular speaker. And perhaps if you were to take such a trip, there would be stress, there would be tension that comes with caring for a sick relative. But you realize that life is short. Sometimes really short, and nothing's promised about tomorrow. So you may feel in a conflicted spot. Actually, not just as the medium, but as a person. We all know that sometimes we can't be where we think we'd like to be. But welcome to wherever you are. That's exactly where you're meant to be. You made it this far. And yes, that's a quote. So you may feel like it would be too stressful. It would be too hard to see my sick loved one. I feel like I should go. I feel like I'm required to go, perhaps. And either I could easily, but, or I couldn't easily because such and such. And it can make you feel disappointed. For some of us, perhaps even if this loved one is somebody in our blended family who we otherwise don't know that well. We can still hold a desire to know them and care about them. And send them healing vibes now in your mind. And remember to breathe. You may be finding healing in this. It may be stirring up uncomfortable emotions. But breathe into and through them. Find your center and your sense of calm that's in there. Again, perhaps you are not someone who gets outside of your usual environment very often. Maybe it's because of transportation methods available, finances, anxiety, depression. And you just need to escape for a little while. So again, welcome. You just need to cut out the environment of which you're so used to and perhaps do feel is your comfort zone, is an environment that you have grown to accept and love as it is, without much judgment. You're doing your best. If it seems very simple and you'd like it to be more exciting, do little things to make it so. Especially if you kind of like it very simple and plain, but you still want a little bit of pop and chips. A little bit of style. Or perhaps it's a bit chaotic, which may or may not reflect your current circumstances. But either way, it is how it is meant to be. And you may feel you need to do some soul searching to be able and you may find that the balance of the music and the speaking of this may not be as balanced as the creator who's doing this for the first time thought it was. I'm sorry about that. But I do feel like it's helping me, and hopefully you've heard some things that will help you. So as you sit on the deck with beverage of choice in your hand, and you watch the birds and the butterflies and the dragonflies, and you look at the colorful flowers and the vastness of the area, and you remember that even though it might be a little messy, it can be beautiful at the same time. At the same time. Just like the mind. Breathe. And you notice that the sun has went behind the clouds a little bit. And it looks like it might rain. So you go inside. Where you find yourself at a table. Remembering the great meal that you had a night or two before. And soon you will be enjoying the rest of it. Because you have not wanted to inconvenience your loved one. And you sit and think of how powerful it was to be able to have these moments for your mind. in your soul. And you open your eyes and find that you're actually in your own home, with perhaps a reminded appreciation. You're grateful for it. You don't think you take it for granted, but maybe we all do a little bit. I'm homeless, sir. He could tell he was. So do you have a partner? Do you live with anybody? Yes. You do? That's great. No? Accept it. But if you do, my God, cherish it. Cherish it always. Again, don't be anxious. Just remember to enjoy and cherish and make the most of those things, because again, tomorrow is not promised. You have a house? Wow. Be thankful. You have a warm or cool, if it's summer, dry, or hopefully mostly dry house. It may need a little work. You may be noticing new cracks in the wall, or something hanging off of the ceiling that needs to be replaced, or a light that needs to be changed, or something that needs to be washed or vacuumed. And although life is not about material things, you have some things that bring you comfort. You have accumulated something. You have accumulated things that are meant for you and meant to tell you something. Take your time. And you may look out a window and you may see a neighbor that you have a distressing or not uplifting connection with, because they're a neighbor and they live so close. You can see them. You can see them or their home as soon as you look out your window. There's a window there in your house to enjoy. You can't do anything about what's in view. Or you may find that the area is just too busy. It's just too active for whatever reason. It's great to see, youth out enjoying nice weather in the outdoors and activity, but it can make it a little hectic. It's great to see senses of community, but at times maybe it's triggering. At times maybe you don't feel like you have it as well in your life, or need more. And perhaps you feel quite lonely a lot of the time. And perhaps you feel like you want to have a closer family. And perhaps you feel like you are just really bored. And perhaps you feel mixed emotions about these things. So I'm going to invite you to come back into the room that you're in and the video that you're on. With you. Maybe they have been. Doesn't look like it. And please, I'd love your feedback on this. And I want you to know that you can come to this, and it's under an hour. You can come to this anytime you want. Should I do this final step since nobody's here? You can come to this anytime that you need to step out of your current situations and environments, and can't remember which was the other one over here now. I think it was this one. And we do have someone just tuning in who may think this looks like just any of your other videos, but actually it wasn't. If you've seen, and you left, but maybe you haven't seen this before, and you're like, but already you're making an assumption. Well, but it totally could have been the case that somebody who's seen the content before and thought that this was a meditation video just happened to tune in right at the end. Just my luck, and theirs, I suppose, but they weren't very patient, and see me sitting on the couch rambling. And it's kind of like, yeah, you always do that. If they have noticed that. But I don't always, even for myself, stop and meditate. And I bet you don't either. And if you do, I hope that I as you could tell, I was basing it on kind of on something that I'm going through, but realizing that, so many of us do go through that, and maybe there's so many things that are making me feel the feels I'm feeling. And maybe hearing stories about people who regret that they didn't go see their loved one who, let's be told though, she sounds like she's mostly come out of her surgery pretty good, but who didn't go see their loved one in the hospital, or in general, who wasn't well, and then they passed away, and you feel guilt, and you feel like you could have done more and such, right? And it's interesting, actually, and it's not like this has not been very active and a very active topic for me. And yes, there was a meditation earlier in this video, so once it's posted, I think it actually turned out quite well, and I hope you enjoy it. But yeah, I think we can all relate to that, where it's kind of like we're not always in the place we want to be geographically, and we're far from loved ones, and sometimes a loved one that's unwell. And I feel a little bit awkward saying in my situation loved one, because it's the sister of the person that I live with, and I've only met them 3 or 4 times. But at the same time, even with Alzheimer's, even if I've not been kind of super present, like I'm thinking 1 and kind of 2 recent calls. I think there's been I'm pretty sure 3, maybe 4. And even still, I'm remembered about. I'm told, give him a hug for me. And that feels nice. I noticed it with my grandpa too, actually, even though he had Alzheimer's. He seemed to always remember my name. But yeah, so, we can all, a lot of us, and if we don't yet, we probably will in life. But again, it doesn't even have to necessarily be a sick relative. It can just be a loved one or a friend that's far away geographically. And so, and I think that some of the other things that were said in this meditation kind of paint a picture of where my mind's at, but also where the mind of other people who might be in either very similar or at least somewhat similar circumstances might be feeling or thinking. And I feel like there could be benefit in coming back to this video and watching the meditation that I just did. If the title says it's improvised, it was. But, and I can't remember if it did. I think I decided against it and the person went. But maybe they're like, okay, I'll do that. But, I'm tired of hearing you just rambling, And I'm glad that they just, and maybe it was watching part of it. Or it seemed like Michelle, maybe she's just like, I don't really have time to comment or necessarily watch the whole thing right now, but I'll try and do so later. And then did. So, sometimes it's somebody that I might be familiar with who just for whatever reason, and if it's not even, again, I guess, I try to be a very diverse person. And well, actually, I don't even really feel, speaking of that in the earlier video, I don't even really feel like I have to put much effort into it. I just naturally am fairly diverse in the ways that I am and the things that I like to talk about. And, it's possible that even still, I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And part of me would want to know why. And would be a little surprised, but it's just the way it is. So, I'm me and you're you. We could try and be flexible with each other, but otherwise, yeah. But, even saying that, there is a part of me, as much as that I think really helped myself, and I might do it more than once some days. There is a part of me that hopes with even those people who if maybe they just happen to, come back to this and really have liked the meditation and I'm curious what I say afterwards or whatever, benefit from that. The other thing I want to state, because I'm almost kind of thinking it in my mind, is it is entirely possible that with this or any meditation, you might have a different experience each time you come to it, even though it's the same meditation. And if you do, I'd be curious to hear about that. Is it really only 10:15? I tell you, it feels like it should be 11 or 12. Another thing that I might want to talk about, maybe just start to talk about in this video, but then might go on more about it in another video, or maybe talk about it more here, is anticipation. But the viewer left, so sure, kind of like in the previous video where I was saying stuff about trying or whatever, I think maybe I'd like to kind of just get off my chest some feelings around anticipation, and then maybe you'll comment, and then know that then it wasn't entirely intentional, but of course, right? Know that if these topics bring up the stress again, you don't have to keep listening, but I'm not going to say too much more. But you can go back to that meditation. You can technically go back to any meditation. And I would be open to getting ideas, like I say, for future ones. Like not necessarily ones that you found, but like, maybe based on, in fact, this is not to toot my own bugle, as I say, but I think this is brilliant. What do you feel like in your life you could benefit from having a meditation about, whether you're someone who meditates often or not? Another way to put that, the viewer left, is I showed with this that I took a experience that it's a personal situation that I'm going through right now, and what's maybe something that you're going through. Maybe I'll start a series and again try and put it in playlists if I can. What is something that you're going through right now in your life that you feel like a meditation about that, if the person went like, never mind, I got too much going on. If done with elements of obviously love, positivity, acceptance, but perhaps going deeper on those and on your situation. And you don't have to say a lot, but if you do, that's fine too. Either way, I'll try and go a bit deep. I'll try and take it on as a little bit of I'll try to relate to it or something, you know. And yeah, I'm curious. And I also might do it a bit more with some of my own life. I almost want to do another one. But I went up with a small ride, but he's in the crate, and I think he is. Although I may have left those 2 rooms open, so he might be getting into things. I do have another idea though, so I think I'm gonna do another one very soon. Use up the rest of this, which is 10 minutes, but it might be longer than that. But I'll be back. Thanks for watching. I'm also going to take this, put it in the description and under the next one.